Hello, everybody. I am Ron Michaelis, and with me I have Ben the uh, Porter.
JR
Oh, J.R. Porter.
stands for
Oh,
John Ratcliffe.
oh,
That's my
John.
hospital. That's my hospital. Yeah.
Oh, there has been a lot that has been going on with Twitter. Um,
Yeah, you sent me some messages. Now this is completely new. I've only just heard about this, but there was a rather unpleasant-looking character on Twitter. You made me
oh,
aware of.
yeah, that person who posted that. Yeah, I mean, it's an animation. It's animation, but still, I blocked the person because I think it's like real photos that are illegal. I don't think
Mhm.
that animations are illegal.
Unfortunately, if it's just a drawing or rendering, it's not. But it's still disgusting that he. I mean, I don't know if he's a troll or whether he's for real. But this was a guy basically who was posting what looked like young girls in anime form in erotic poses.
Yeah, you're right. It was disgusting, and I blocked the accounts. And I don't know why a person retweeted that. I don't know why. I feel like confronting that person on it about it, but I'll just do that later.
It's
Um,
pretty disgusting. I mean, I've got a daughter. I mean, she's not a little girl anymore. She's grown up, but it's horrible to see people even thinking about the idea of someone even thinking about young girls in that way is just disgusting. It really is.
yeah, it's absolutely disgusting.
Do you remember our talk about cuties?
Ugh.
That was last year sometime, but I mean, I wouldn't watch that. I mean, I do have Netflix in my house. I don't pay for it. Someone else does, but I wouldn't watch that. No way.
I don't use Netflix. Like I told you, I did. Well, okay, I did use Netflix, but the thing is, they gave out all those free trials,
Mm,
and I would just use their free trials. But because I was poor, I would always cancel.
good
So
idea.
it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, because I was poor, so it's like, well, I had no money, so I'll use the Netflix free trial. Then, but before the trial's over, I'll click cancel. Then I use the free trial again. Then I'll cancel again, and I'll use the free trial again, and then I cancel again. So I was never ever really financially supporting
Nah,
them, but
you're
that was
exploiting them. That's good. You're exploiting them. They
that was
deserve it. They deserve it.
yeah, but it's kind of like well, actually, it was mostly because I was like poor and had no money. This was before the cuties controversy even have happened, but it's like now that the cuties controversy happened, it's kind of like now it's like I would just go to certain how about going to a foreign websites if I want to watch a series or you
Exactly.
know
You can find them in other places. It's just it is it's interesting this has come up because what you talked about what happened on Twitter today reminds me of that because as we said there's so much hypocrisy. Netflix has banned they have banned several productions. For example, Cassie Jo's The Red Pill. They banned that.
they
They
made the
said,
red pill.
yeah, and this is Cassie J. Went. She's a former feminist who investigated the MRA movement and ended up becoming one of them, and made a film called The Red Pill, which is very good. Banned by Netflix. Other things, there's several other sort of politically incorrect productions that have been kicked off Netflix. Um, but they allowed degeneracy and depravity to run rampant. It's like who 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 do you
Big
know has
Mouth
been
just
banned
put up
from
a
Twitter? you
what?
know, so many people have been banned from Twitter that I really like, such as this Sargon of Akkad, Dave Cullen. I used to follow these people. They're banned from Twitter. Stephen Molyneux. I know they're not perfect, these people, but they were interesting, and I think they were giving out some interesting ideas. Banned from Twitter, but do you think this person you just blocked is going to get banned?
I don't know because I really don't know. It's kind of hard to say, but these social media sites do overlap, and I know at least with Reddit, it's becoming more laxed. I know Reddit has become more laxed, but Reddit will still crack down,
Mm.
on. maps, maps. I got to be careful because it's, YouTube. But I'm glad that people like Keemstar has spoken out. Like, wait a minute, why is YouTube protecting maps? Why aren't we allowed to say the word? It's like, sure, I guess, it's like advertisers. I mean, but it's like I think you would get a community guideline strikes if you say that word though. Like the reason why I avoid the word, it's not because I'm worried about being demonetized. I'm not monetized anyway, but I am worried about getting a community guideline strike or getting the channel removed or getting the video suppressed because I think this Sticks Hammer said this, that, it's like these sorts of videos that would get demonetized are also these same sort of videos that would get suppressed. Like if you avoid saying certain things, and I did try that before. I have tried that before where I would avoid saying certain things, but try to make a good video. And those videos where I avoided saying certain things did much better. So it's like if you use certain words, trigger words, your videos will still get suppressed.
That's right. You get shadow banned. It's happened to me. I mean, I don't know exactly what it is that got me banned, but I mean, YouTube have a whole list of rules about questioning this, that, and the other. But I was definitely shadow banned in early 2018, and my viewers have now dropped by to a third. And it's simply uttering words. I mean, maps is something they haven't got around to yet, but maps is just most people know it just means like a PDF file. Like a Adobe Acrobat PDF file.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, like a PDF file.
That's right. That's what we're talking about.
I get what
people
you're
work out
about.
what I mean. Well, they'll work out what I mean.
That was really clever.
Especially it's this dirty bastard who's, I don't know if he's a troll or, because people do this just to troll sometimes, but it's disgusting things to put on Twitter. And I'm not confident that they will care enough to get rid of them.
No, I do know that Reddit would get rid of them. Reddit would definitely get rid of it. Like really fast too. Like Reddit would get rid of that, and Reddit is actually becoming more lax. They used to be exactly like Twitter. Reddit used to be like up there with Twitter where it's like you can't say anything. But now Reddit went from being like Twitter, but now it's like they've become more lax. And in a way, I'm not surprised because, okay, Bill Maher has been speaking out against the left, and Hillary Clinton has been speaking out against the left. Like Hillary Clinton was like, "Hey, we need to push back against the far left," and Bill Maher has been going after progressives for a really long time now. Because I always viewed that neoliberals viewed, progressives as useful idiots. They just wanted to use you to get into office, and the moment that they get into office, they're going to move further right, because that's what always happens. They add really, really, really left wing, to get into office, and then once when they get into office, they move further right.
That's the sort of feeling I got. I mean, Hillary Clinton, for them to, I mean, Bill Maher will just take the mickey out of anyone. I mean, he's kind of like he's like a shock jock, I suppose. Or he's a TV presenter who loves controversy, and he sets it up sometimes because it's his sort of like milieu. But Hillary Clinton is supposed to be a serious politician. I mean, I don't like her. I think she's very corrupt. She'll say whatever she needs. She'll say whatever's useful to her,
Mm-hmm.
And if the far left are no longer of any use, they'll get rid of them.
Yeah. It's like the moment you outlive your usefulness, they'll just, like throw you under a bus. Like, like I would see like articles that would normally be seen, like, like how, like, what's it, Rachel Maddow? What's it, her that she works for what's it, NBC or
MSNBC, yeah.
Then I would read an article, by, MSN or whatever, saying like, AOC is far left and AOC and it's an extremist, and like they'll be throwing AOC and the squad under the bus. Like they'll be throwing them under the bus as, unhinged and whatnot. But it's kind of like they would act like really, really far left to the point that they are obnoxious, to get rid of Trump. But then the moment like Biden is in office, they will move further right. And like while criticizing the presidents was normal under Trump, all you would see is all of these Twitter headlines over and over and over and over again, making fun of, the Cheeto in chief. Biden is now president. No criticisms. And then, I highly doubt that it's because Biden is perfect. I think it's because they're all, are, in each other's back pockets, like, they're just corrupt, it's just corruption. And that's the real reason why they don't criticize Biden, because I'm sure that there's a whole lot to criticize, but it's like, oh, even Sean had called it out. Even Sean had it's like, oh, and once when Biden is office, we're gonna take a big nappy nap,
Biden, I think, needs naps, probably about 6 naps a day, the way he behaves. But his administration, and whoever's really controlling things, and whoever's feeding him his lines, probably through an earpiece, they will use people. And throughout 2020, they were using the far left, for example, being very sympathetic towards the riots that were happening at the time, things like that. This was a useful thing for them to do. And the far left, of course, ends up voting for Biden, and then
like for me, when it comes to Vosh, I really, really do not trust them, because it's kind of, there are just things suspicious about him. Like, for example, like he would always be trending on Twitter all the time, nonstop, as if like, okay, like even when I blocked him, I will block them just to stop seeing him trending, but he'll still be trending like on an everyday basis. And like, and not only that, but it's kind of a lot like he is supposed to be a far left extremist, but he kept pushing his audience of like, I don't know, Zoomers to vote for Joe Biden. Like he wanted to stress, you got to vote for Joe Biden. You must. He kept stressing, like, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you're an idiot. But it's like, it is really strange for, a far left pro Antifa, extremists to be like, to stress the importance to his Zoomer audience. You got to vote for Joe Biden, or you're like an idiot. And not only that, but I hear somebody told me that he would delete all of the comments for people who refuse to vote for Joe Biden. Somebody told me that. I don't know if it's true or not. I heard that he would go around deleting all the comments for people who were anarchists that didn't want to vote for Joe Biden.
It wouldn't surprise me, I mean, I've seen him. He did an interview with a Bernie or Buster. The guys just vote for Bernie Sanders, and whatever happens, just vote for Bernie Sanders. And he did this. He did this interview. I say interview. He's just really laying into this guy the way he does, because he's an aggressive kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
He gets angry very easily, and of course, that's part of his personality, which of course is his job. It's his job to be controversial in a way, just like Bill Maher. He's very similar in that respect, the two of them. But he was, I think, during 2020, everyone was kind of panicking because Trump was kind of their evil incarnate. They were like, not you, it was Trump. He was like Satan. I mean, he was literally the embodiment of Satan as far as these people believe. I mean, obviously then they're atheists, so they don't believe in anything but like that. But these same patterns appear in people's brains. Even if you're an atheist, you have the same kinds of patterns in your brains that religious people have. They're only focused on different things. And for them, Trump was like the devil. And they said, and if you to defeat the devil, you see, anything short of pure evil is justified.
Mm-hmm.
To defeat pure evil, strategically, you can back a lesser evil, according to their ethos. And so that's why they went for after Joe Biden. I mean, Christy Winters put it very well. She went, "Oh, he's a pair of loafers," meaning he's not Trump, so let's just put him on instead. It's better than nothing.
Oh, oh. By the way, that this reminds me of something that I sent you. I'm not. I don't think we're allowed to use the name. I'm not sure if we're allowed to show the name of the World War II German dictator, but
Ah,
it's
the
kind of
Austrian
like
painter, yeah,
yeah. But okay,
Mr. H.
there's this comic where you see a millennial, somebody that's clearly like a millennial or at least a Gen Xer saying "Hell Satan, I'm so edgy," and then you see like a little boy, and this little boy, I guess, is supposed to be the Zoomer, going haha. And then he says something that is a reference to the wrong side of history in the World War II Germany.
Oh,
And
I remember you sent me this. Yes.
yeah, yeah. And then the millennial goes, "Don't you know how insensitive you're being with when you joke like that? Do you understand what redacted stood for? You're perpetuating toxic ideas to other people, whether you realize it or not." When really it's like what the millennial fails to realize is kind of like you said, what's again? You said "Hail of Satan," to be edgy. You said it to be edgy. Not only that, but you know, when I was growing up, America was really religious when I was growing up, and part of the reason why the amazing atheists like T.J. Kirk, Jacqueline Glenn, and Mr. Repsion, Dark Matter 2525, the reason why they took off is because they were so controversial. It is
This
because they're so controversial. But then it's kind of a lot like I could kind of see the overlap between a millennial going, like Hell Satan and a Zoomer making, a World War II reference in the wrong side of history. The wrong side of history. I could see how like a Zoomer's doing that just to be edgy and just to have some controversial humor.
it's a bit like that. So the chap who was posting those horrible animes. That some people just like upsetting other people. They just enjoy it. They're emotional vampires. That's the term I use. So they like to upset other people, which and they'll do anything they can to get that reaction from people, which means they'll do something that's really offensive for that purpose. The Satan thing, a lot of people. Obviously, it depends where you are in the world, because here in this country, no one gives a damn really. I think you could go around saying Hail Satan," and everyone will just laugh. But obviously, in other countries like the United States, or parts of the United States, that is anathema to do that, and that people will be very upset if you go around saying "Hail Satan." And so I suspect that some people, especially Americans, might do it just to get that fix, that emotional vampire blood of somebody. But they've
Yeah, I
had some.
mean, you're doing it to be edgy. Like, come on, like you know what you're doing. Like, you know what you're doing. It's kind of like if everybody believes. Well, okay, like not everybody believes, but I mean, come on. I mean,
Mm. Some people just, it's for some people it's honestly just fun. You say being edgy, and some they don't necessarily want to offend people like the emotional vampires do, but they just want to have a laugh about it. You know what I mean? Am I flickering? Is my
yeah, you're
camera flickering?
flickering for me.
Oh,
You're
it's
flickering.
doing. Yeah, it was doing that the other day. I don't know why that is. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's.
yeah. Let's see. What else did I send you? Because it's kind of like a lot has the Tucker Carlson and Eminem's thing, but then it's kind of like as it turns out, uh, Eminem's or at least Hershey's, Nestle, and whatnots, they are having a lawsuit. They have a lawsuits for child labor.
Oh, really? So they've been caught by employing underage people.
I could send you the link. Hold on. Let
Cheers.
me send you the link. Let's see, let's see, Mars, Nestle, and Hershey's to face child slavery laws in the USA. So it's kind of like the Tucker Carlson complaining about sexy M&Ms happening in suspicious timing.
All right. Are you sending it to me in StreamYard? Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Guardian. Right, you are. Oh, well. Yeah, chocolate companies are among the defendants in a lawsuit brought by child workers on the Ivory Coast. Oh, good grief. Yeah. Hey, it's cheap labor, probably in other countries like in the third world and places they can do this. Even if they employ adults, they because of the differences in pay grades between different countries, they can make a lot of money because the workers have to be paid a lot less simply because of the country they live in. Yeah. Oh dear. That's amazing. That's what at least the lawsuit is going ahead for this because normally you don't. It never sees the light of day. Normally, nothing gets done about it. It's been going on for years that they will actually because we have like a globalized economy now. They'll get goods cheaply in other countries if they can get them. Usually, it's China or someone like that. If it's agriculture, they'll usually go to the third world simply because it's cheaper. Or if it's the Far East, they'll often get like sweatshop manufactured goods from the Far East from people who pay very, very little indeed. And it's, of course, it's immoral, but it makes sense for from their point of view if all they care about is profit maximization, which is what they do. I don't want to sound like a communist here. I'm not, but it's a product of the world market, and it unfortunately it maintains poverty in various countries.
Okay, and here's I have okay. This one is a lot more controversial. So it's like let's be really mindful about
Sure,
this
yeah.
being a really sensitive
YouTube
topic.
rules again. Yeah, I've sort of got used to it now, just being minding my P's and Q's whenever I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, because it's kind of a lot like you say the wrong word and you say the wrong word.
The algorithms appear, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, let's see. This one is like R true off my chest. And let's see, hold on. By Victoria. I'd rather just be told flat out that you think I'm a freak than to treat me this way, wholly redacted, because YouTube doesn't like it when you use swear words. Let's see. I don't believe people could read.
My T friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
I tell them that I support them. I have the stupid, oh, okay, people can read da 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 in my Twitter bio, but I don't think, okay, a little bit too itchy for YouTube, but people can read. I just don't want to deal with the blah, 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 continue on. Da, 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 da. I don't think that they were well, you could read.
yeah?
You could read. You could read.
I'm just
And I
reading
could
it
scroll
now.
down. And not only that, but I think that people could get the general gist of it. I do think that they get the general gist of it, but it's kind of a lot like I don't know, and it's like then it's kind of like this person was like the mods removed the post at least, and it seems like that was the intent. It seems that the intent was to just use public outrage to get the post removed. But I was thinking, it's like I remember Twitter. I do remember Twitter, and I do remember that there was this controversial figure of Magdalene Burns. Not only that, but not only was there like Magdalene Burns, there's like, let's see, there's Magdalene Burns. Even who's the other? Who's the other one? Blair White's is another
I know
one.
Blair White. I don't know Magdalene Birds. I know Blair White. I mean, you did an interview with her once. I remember.
I'd never interviewed
Oh, it's
with that
ContraPoint.
woman.
Sorry, it was ContraPoints. Pardon me. Yeah, but this is the whole tea subject, which is it seems to be the big hot potato at the moment.
Yeah,
Tea.
because it's kind of like, the person says, just call me a freak and treat me this way. But it's kind of like, what's in there? Like, what about Blair White? It's kind of a lot like Blair White wasn't able to just say whatever she wants to say, and people who just like her videos and share it were never ever able to just like her video and share it because it's kind of like this person is, whether they mean to or not, they were advocating for how things used to be. They're pretty
Yeah.
much, whether they mean to or not, were advocating for, like, oh yeah, like, like when Blair White just said her true opinions, she should have really just been allowed to say her true opinions. And all of her fans and her supporters who were at least honest and direct with like sharing her videos and whatnot, you're like, oh yeah, like that is actually a good thing, because at least you
Mm.
have the transparency. Because when it comes to this, it's like I predicted this. I made a video. I made a YouTube video. Like, I don't remember. I was it in like, well, okay, it was when all of that censorship started happening. Okay, it was like around 2018, like 2018 somewhere, where I made a video about this because I did predict that this was going to happen. That's and basically there's a person in the comments who basically pretty much paraphrased my YouTube video. Like, let me just find a person in the comments. See if
There's
it's
a
something.
Russian. It looks like there's a Russian person in there. Oh
Yeah,
right. Oh, you mean not the live comments, but on the video you meant, or on the Twitter.
yeah. This person basically paraphrased my YouTube video. Well, basically, let's see. Oh, they left another comment somewhere. Well, I don't know where their other comment is said, but it's kind of like it's it isn't entirely surprising considering insincere. I'm not sure if I can say that. It's just easier than dealing with a wave of progressives harassing you. Woke skulls can't read minds after all. And I did make a YouTube video going like, if you go around and go around and crack down on free speech, instead of going like, let people say whatever they want to say, like, let just people say whatever they want to say. Like, I'm sure, like, you don't want things that cross legal lines, like the map thing that I showed you earlier,
Mm.
where somebody is like harming children. But it's kind of a lot like, it's kind of like, it is always better to know where you stand with people.
Well, yeah, this what they call is insincere tea acceptance. Now, Blair White has got into a lot of trouble because she's a tea sexual, but she's like a very she's politically incorrect in a sense that the normal like tea sexual culture. I was listening to this someone I can't remember the name of the user. She's changing her name all the time, but yeah, Kevin Logan is always interviewing her. Kevin Logan is my favorite hate watch. Kevin and Christy, I can't. It's just like I just are glued to everything they say and biting my nails about it. But this woman was this T woman was saying like things like, oh, if you go out on a date with a woman and then you get on all right and you think she's attractive and then you find out after you were attracted to her and you want a second date or something, you find out then that she's like a T person, a T sexual person, then you're a T phobe. If you don't want to see her again, you're a T phobe, meaning someone who actually hates and reviles T people. And I just thought that was incredibly unfair. Because I myself am what you might call super straight. I'm not attracted to T sexual people. And I don't believe this is because I'm meant morally deficient in any way. I think this is just the way I am. I know a lot of guys, straight guys, who like T people. I mean, Alex Jones notoriously is very fond of them. He's been caught out, watching them. But you get this kind of like this mental tyranny where your thoughts they're trying to test you. You know, it says woke skulls can't read minds, but the woke skulls are always trying to read your mind. They're always looking for little things you say or do, which they will then pick out, and they're very good at it. And I've been in the company of these people, and I find them intolerable, unapproachable, because they do this. And what we're dealing with here is someone who's I didn't get a chance to read all that in detail, the text you posted, but I get the impression that this person is wants to be compassionate to her T-sexual friend or his T-sexual friend, but at the same time cannot accept the standard T-sexual narrative, the
Well, it's
politically correct
actually
one.
better. It's better to say T person
T
because
person.
yeah, YouTube
Okay.
doesn't like
So,
the like you will see like Sean had Sean had bleep out that word, talking about X, and for some reason they would have like porn stars on YouTube. It's like you can't say that word, but we'll have nudity on YouTube. You can't say that word because I noticed that Sean had Blair Whiteson. I think Temple, like, they would just so many YouTubers would bleep out that word. So it's better to say T person or T gender than the T other one because YouTube doesn't like that word either.
okay. Sorry, YouTube. Don't demonetize or don't shadow ban Rin. It was my fault.
Yeah, the thing about YouTube is that it's so strict to the point that, like, you could actually have a real conversation on Twitter. You can have a real conversation on Reddit. Like, you could have a better conversation on Twitter or Reddit than on YouTube. And I think it's on purpose to help people like Bill Maher, like, because you do know that there's like a double standard. You do know that,
Yeah.
like, the rules don't really apply like across the board. It's not the exact same thing across the board. It's really like if you have corporate backing, YouTube it will let you say whatever you want. But it's like if you don't have corporate backing, like you gotta watch everything you say. It
It's
really
very obvious, yeah. It's very obvious that people like us, the independent content creators, we're being handed our hat, aren't we? We're being told, yeah, YouTube is now like the kind of, it's the bête noire, it's the black sheep of the family. I think the alphabet wish they'd never had YouTube because they're trying to just turn it into another TV station, basically.
Yeah, they're trying to turn it
Yeah.
into cable television. Like in one hand, okay. What I've noticed is that you do notice that Bill Maher is pretty much repeating all of the very common anti-SJW talking points, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, Bill Maher. Like, think about it. Regular people like you and me are at risk of getting our channels terminated, and some have gotten their channels terminated for ridiculous reasons. But Bill Maher is pretty much like repeating a Tim Pool video, nearly like word for word. And it's like, yeah.
It's unfair, isn't it? Because Tim, of course, he'll get like quashed. Bill Maher won't because Bill Maher makes money for them. Tim doesn't, and and the thing is, I do think Tim is sincere, whereas Bill Maher, I suspect that he will say anything that he has to be the kind of character that he is.
Well,
I do.
actually, I think that Temple did a live stream. Well, I think he did it a long time ago, but I think that Temple did it like a live stream where he's actually doing better than CNN, MSNBC. He's actually doing better than news stations actually, and it was actually on his like live stream, but it's been a while since I watched him because we kind of like drifted apart, like Temple, like me and him, we don't really see eye to eye anymore.
Yeah, I know that happens on YouTube. You've got someone in the comments, by the way. It's someone called Alina. I can actually read that because I'm learning to speak Russian at the moment. So I
It
don't know who that
seems to
is.
be promoting a Russian website.
VUM. I won't say it, but just in case it's dodgy. But Alina, I don't know who. Alina Sakhanova. Sakhanova. Name says. Yeah,
Yeah, it seems
it's a
like
weird language, Russian, but it's a weird language, but I'm learning it.
hmm.
But
Yeah, there is like zero viewers and the one person who left the comments just wanted to share
oh
a
right,
link.
I'll well I've shared I have actually gone and I've shared it on Facebook and Twitter, so hopefully there's maybe more than that coming soon, you know, and then certainly the recording will get more than that, then definitely. But
Well, I mean, I don't really care about how many views I get, but you know what? Like, whenever if you say something wrong, that's what goes viral. Like, that tweets I showed you, that Reddit, that person was probably in a small Reddit group of only 300 people, and it went viral. Like, let's see, it's went viral. How many?
I haven't
Uh,
been on Reddit for ages. I've not been on Reddit for bloody months. I know because I contacted you over there, but I've not even been on there for ages. It's been a while. Mind you, you've been off YouTube for a while, haven't you? How long have you
Yeah,
been off YouTube?
after that stalker is kind of like, it's kind of like I had that stalker and then I suspected that he is impersonating me. And even if he didn't, he clearly knew who was impersonating me. He clearly knew like the guy just went stopped contacting me. And it's like, oh my goodness, I just wanted to just get that stalker off my back. It's like
Yeah.
it's like you don't have to like my content, but at least leave me alone. And the impersonation, that was like really creepy.
That is, yeah. I mean, these people like they're like mosquitoes. They sort of flock to you. And for a big ugly ex-hospital porter like myself, you know, I'm not. It doesn't bother me particularly, but I realize other people would affect them more than it would me. And you know they're cowards though. They're really horrible because I actually challenged one once to a meetup. I says I'll meet up with you, see if you could be as mouthy as me to this to my face, and I arranged a meeting in a town near where I live, and he never turned up. He didn't show up. They can't cope with real life confrontations. They just have to attack people online. They're
Well,
cowards.
I mean, like the impersonation, like when that person impersonated me, that's like crossing the line. That
Mm.
is like going way too far. It's like, why won't you talk to me? Why won't you talk to me? Why won't you talk to me? It's like use common sense. It's like you're impersonating me, and it's like when I make an effort, all he did was, spammed my DMs, calling me a dog and stuff. Well, he didn't call me a dog. He called me a dog. I'm just using dog as an
Yeah.
euphemism. Well, he called me a female dog as a euphemism.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yes,
But
BD.
it's
Yeah.
like, it's kind of like when I did try to speak, all he did was just spam called me a female dog in my DMs. It's like, why would you talk to me? It's like, use common sense. It's like, you really can't figure out that people would want you to speak to them, decently, civilly, like with respect. It's kind of like, and then he tried to get me come to live stream. It's like, why won't you come to live stream? It's like, I mean, it's kind of like I treat every guest I have with respect. I expect, if I go to a channel, I I want respect. Like I treat you with respect.
Mm.
And every guest I ever had, I treated with respect. Lapis, Tyler Preston, Yoruba Pet, I treat all of my guests with respect. Because if you can't be respectful, then no, I will not speak to you.
Good. Absolutely, that's how it should be. Definitely. I was contacted by someone once, and it looked very realistic. I was quite shocked when I first saw it. But I was contacted by someone pretending to be a policeman,
Oh.
and
Because I
they
thought
sent
you were
me
like,
anyway. Yeah.
I know you're like going like, oh, I was contacted by somebody pretending to be you when it was like really convincing.
It was This also I've had fake letters from solicitors accusing me of all kinds of things. The fake policeman who contacted me said that I was in one of my videos I was behaving inappropriately to a child, and that was horrible. I mean, that wasn't, what's the word? That wasn't like, they didn't tell me which video or anything like that. They just said one of my videos would be, and I would have to come to a voluntary interview under caution. They were summoning me to an interview under caution. In other words, you go there without being arrested and be interviewed by the police, possibly facing charges.
Well, I mean, I don't know how England works, but when the police just show up to your house directly, I mean,
well,
yeah,
this is the thing. You see, it took after I panicked for about 5 minutes, and I was scared. I was honestly scared. You know that being inappropriate to a child. I mean, it could be. Obviously, I hadn't been inappropriate to a child in any of my videos, but a couple of times there's been children in my videos, people I know, friends, children, and stuff like that. It's scary, it's scary. They can pin things on you. After about 5 minutes, I thought, hang on a minute. Do the police normally contact you like this?
no, like at least in America, the police would just show up to your house. The police wouldn't contact you over the internet. I mean, the contacting you over the internet, at least in America, that's not what they would do. They would just show up to your house unexpectedly.
Well, what I did, I started looking into it a bit, and I suddenly realized that it is the same here. The police would actually come to your address in person. They wouldn't email you. They would come and speak to you personally first. And I suddenly realized, oh God, this guy is a troll. This guy he's trying to upset me, and he sent me a fake email. The same with the solicitors' letters I get, fake solicitors' letters. Sometimes they make up office. I check up the office, and the office is not there. They're very dedicated, these people, in terms of their deception.
Yeah, like I had to be careful because it turned out to be a real CIA letter. Oh no, not a CIA letter. It was an IRS, a real IRS letter. But at first, it's kind of like I wanted to be careful because it's kind of a lot like is it real? Is it fake? So I talked to a person. Yeah, there's a person who goes to my church who does work for the IRS, and she did verify that it is real, but it was no big deal. I don't know, like, why would the IRS scare you for no big deal? Because I called the IRS and I was like, hello? I mean, hello? Am I in trouble? And it's like, no, 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 no. That is just a very generic message that was sent to like everybody. And it's like, you scared me over nothing. Like, it's like you're just gonna say like, yeah, it's a generic message that has been sent to like thousands of other people, not just you. Don't worry about it, just ignore it. It's like, okay, you gave me a heart attack and you had me panicking over nothing.
I kind of thinking they do this deliberately. I mean, ideally, it's the Internal Revenue Service, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the same as our inland revenue. They're basically a tax enforcement people. Normally, they would only contact you if there was a problem with your taxation. So they would contact you and
they did call me because there was a problem with my taxes, but I wasn't in any trouble. It had to do with the stimulus package.
I'm kind of wondering sometimes though if they do that just to keep people on their toes.
Yeah, I feel like they were just doing it to keep me on my toes because they did, like freak me out. But it's kind of like, oh yeah, by the way, like how we sent you that message, like just don't worry about it. Like just discard it. It's like, like I don't worry about it. And it's like, well, you had me, crapping myself over nothing.
Yeah, I do think these bureaucracies need to justify their own existence sometimes, and they do certain things just for that purpose alone, as if they just want to remind you that they're there, even if they're
it did have to do with my taxes, but it had to do with my stimulus, message. Like there was like an error or whatever. There was like an error, and he told me that I accidentally misfiled my taxes, but that I wasn't in any trouble with it. Like I'm in no trouble at all. They're not going to punish me for it.
No, I don't want any tax office to contact me unless it's for a healthy rebate. If they did that once, and that was actually quite welcome. They owed me £2,000. That was great that day. That was years ago. But I don't like official letters. I want to be left alone. I suppose
Yeah,
how
yeah, I don't really
libertarian.
like letters like that because I was like genuinely scared. I was genuinely terrified. One person suggested that it could have been identity theft, and I was like, "Oh no, it can't be that." Okay, okay. There was is Let me show you this other thing. I need to go to like Twitter search advanced though. Twitter. I'm just gonna Google Twitter search advanced on. And I'm going to just try to find my own tweet. No, okay. I'm just going to, because I tweet quite a bit. I don't. It's weird because I don't use Twitter like I used to, but it's still kind of hard to find in my tweets. Okay, let me use the search engine.
Unless it's been deleted. I don't even check to see if my tweets have been. I just put them out there. I don't even check them.
I'm just trying to find my tweet because oh, wait a minute. I think I found it. Wait, hold on. I think this is it. Wait a minute. This is it. Like, okay, wait. Hold on. Let me use screen share. Screen share.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like silence. Really don't like.
No, right. So I'll fill in the dead air. No problem. But it's good to see you back on the. Oh, here we go.
Okay,
What?
we can't say that. Okay, hold on. Like, okay, during redacted, got girlfriend hurt me. Okay, me, the upside down cross you're wearing is called the Patron Cross. It's a Christian symbol all over the Vatican, and it's true. It is
Yeah.
actually true. It is the upside down cross is a Patron cross. I did not know that until now. This is my favorite stuff. It's like, what? I was shocked. And it's a Christian symbol all over the Vatican. Her stop. And it's like me. In fact, your whole aesthetic is basically an elaboration on Memento Mori, one of the main themes in the Catholic art. I Googled that. And he's right again.
Yeah.
And it makes I don't know, Satanism, a joke because Christians are fighting back, and well, I think he's Christians, but well, this guy at least is Christian. This guy is a Catholic.
Yeah. You see, it's
So that guy
yeah.
is actually a Catholic, but it's like I never heard of a Patron Cross because I grew up Pentecostal, so it's like I didn't really know that, and it's kind of like it's an elaboration of Memento Mori, and it's like true, but then it's like, especially if you look up, okay, what is Satan's role in Judaism? And in Judaism, Satan isn't even God's enemy. Satan is God's like prosecutor in Judaism.
Yeah. I used to be concerned about the Patron Cross because apparently it's something to do with Saint Peter being crucified upside down or something like that. I don't know exactly how it happened, but the Pope has this upside down crucifix on his chair, on his throne, and apparently that's what it means. But it is you see, what Satanists do is they invert, like it's mostly like the 20th century Satanists rather than the earlier ones, such as Anton LaVey's Church of Satan. But they invert everything to do with the Christianity. For example, they'll recite the Lord's Prayer backwards, starting at the end with deliver us from evil. They'll go evil, and they'll just do it backwards, and they invert other things as well, like including the crucifix, and inverted crucifix. The end. I could say it. The Mr. H, the Austrian artist, his party who ruled Germany.
Oh. Well, I use the euphemism Alfred Hitchcock. I just called him Alfred Hitchcock.
Alfred Hitchcock, yes,
Yeah.
Alfred Hitchcock. Yes, Mr. Alfred Hitchcock had you see his symbol of the swastika is actually not German. It's India. It comes from India. It's found in Hinduism, and what he did was he actually created a mirror image of it. Because if you go to India today, you can see swastikas on Hindu and Buddhist temples everywhere. But they're the other way round. The actual the angle in the arms of the cross turns right, not left. What the Hitchcocks did, the N words, they did it the other way around. They turned it so that the cross bent left, and you see this across the board. For example, the pentacle, the 5-pointed star, where there's one point upwards and then there's the others at the side. That's positive. That's used by Wiccans. The Satanists actually invert it so it resembles the head of a goat with the 2 points up like that, and then the bit at the side and the bit coming down like that. And that's why you have the goat of Mendes, Baphomet. This is this symbol, this painting you see of a goat. It looks like a human with a goat's head, and it has like wings, like an angel's wings, and the arms are like that. One arm's up, the left arm's up, the right arm's down, like that. Mm-hmm. You see, it's a very weird thing. Oddly enough, if you look at the sculpture of George Washington, he's in that pose as well. And that's I think that's a bit weird. There's a sculpture of George Washington looking like that.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, the Satanism, it went okay. They used to be funny trolls at one point, but now they're cringe. Like like at first, like I think that they tried to put the Baphomet by the 10 Commandments, and I thought that they were funny trolls. But like now they went from being funny trolls to being cringe. They're being. I think that's why the artist, the comic made a millennial, a millennial Satanist fat and look like a neck beard with glasses and balding.
So it's an endless source of humor and memes, and people do use it for example, they used to have these internet churches in the early days of the internet. They used to have chat rooms before Facebook and Twitter, and there was a group of people who would enter these internet churches under the username Satan, and they would like start saying, Satan is Lord and Satan is Lord and things like that. Probably they'd never do that in a real church, of course, because they get the crap kicked out of them, be dragged out the door. But they do it online. But I don't know how many of the people who call themselves Satanists, I don't know how many of them are actually serious about it, and how much
most of them are atheists. Actually, most of them are just atheists who want to troll. And then what makes it really cringe is that they don't want to admit to their trolls. Which like the Jocelyn talked about. Like the Jocelyn's like, okay, why don't you admit that your existence is only to troll Christianity? And like they used to be funny trolls at one point. Like there was a time, that they used to be funny, but I mean now it's more cringe than funny.
Yeah, it's a lot of it. It is that reason. It's they do it for that reason. Serious people who believe in it seriously, I think, are quite rare. There have been some quite famous ones. Aleister Crowley is probably one of them. He was a guy who called himself the Beast 666. And he never actually referred to himself as a Satanist. He said he was a Thelemist. He had this thing called Thelema. That was his religion that he founded himself. But a lot of the things he did, black masses, things like that, were straight out of Satanism. He did a lot of black magic and things like this, which is a common part of Satanism. What they do is that what they believe in, it all goes back to the idea of the knowledge of good and evil. For example, in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve were tempted by the snake to eat the apple from the forbidden tree, the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge. And by eating the apple, they became knowledgeable, but they were cast out of God's kingdom. And the belief among Satanists is that that's a good thing. That was a good thing they did. They rebelled against God, and they therefore became essentially as gods themselves. Like there's a famous poem called Paradise Lost by John Milton, where he says the snake says to Adam and Eve, "Why does he want to keep you in low and ignorant? Well, God wants to keep you his slaves. you can eat the apple thereof, and you will become as gods yourself. And that's the basis of Satanism. The serpent was a good guy, not the bad guy, and God was the bad guy.
Yeah,
It's more
they're
complicated than that, but
mostly
that's the basics.
atheists. Yeah, they're mostly atheists and they're mostly just trolls. And again, it used to be funny, but now it's just really cringe. It's like they're not as funny. And not only that, but the jokes are old and tired, and everybody's heard them anymore.
Hmm.
Like at least the Christians that use Twitter on a regular basis. I don't see Christians getting offended anymore. And if they are getting offended, they're not going viral. Like maybe there are offended Christians out there, but they're not going viral.
Yeah. Well, I hope they just learn not to rise to the bait. It's a silly thing going after Christians. I get quite annoyed by people who are constantly going after Christians all the time, because I think to myself, if they think they're being so edgy and so daring. Like people like Margaret Atwood, who wrote the Handmaid's Tale, and they made it into a movie, and they just made it. It's now a TV series. It's like they think they're being so cool, but it's just cowardly to me. It's just cowardly because they know Christians are peaceful. I don't think they would dare ridicule Islam like that, and they wouldn't attack Muslims in the same way, because Muslims will fight back.
Yeah,
And
I think that they just I don't think that they will criticize Islam. But well actually the Mason Atheist has, and Jacqueline Glenn has. But then, when the Amazing Atheist did and Jacqueline Glenn did, they try to shut them up like, no, you gotta be quiet now because you're attacking the wrong religion, which does make it
yeah.
look like, mommy issues. Like again, I used to think that they were funny, don't get me wrong. There was a time when I was like, oh yeah, they're funny, but it's just like, it's like no, it's like okay, it's like the exact same jokes over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Jesus Christ is a vampire. Wow, how unique, how original. Or Jesus Christ is a zombie. Wow, haven't heard that before. Jesus Christ, the Ghostbusters. Wow, so unique, so original. Like, it's kind of a lot like, it's like what Mr. Medicare said. They take something interesting and then they run it to the ground. They just keep repeating these exact same jokes over and over and over again until it turns into like a dad joke.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, yeah, you
It's
can say to the same just over and over and over at an nauseum until you convert it into a data joke.
it is literally just a repetition. It loses its appeal. I mean, it's an interesting thing though. I mean, that's talking about Satanism again. I know you like early 20th century literature. I don't know if you've ever read any books by Dennis Wheatley, because
No, never even heard of him.
he writes kind of like fantasy stories, but they're sort of set in the world of black magic and Satanism and things like that, and they're quite good stories. Yes, I've got one of them here. What was it?
No, I never heard of him.
That's good. This one's quite good, was it? The Devil Rides Out. That's quite a good one.
Never heard of him.
It's sort of fancy. If you liked, if you enjoyed Oscar Wilde, you might like that.
Oh, I would.
You might do. I don't know. I mean, I think it's quite good. I think that's quite a good story.
Maybe you could read an excerpt. Well, if it's not too if it is to break any YouTube rules, you could read an excerpt.
Let's see. I could read a little bit of it. Yeah. Just get it out of all my other books here I've got to read. I haven't read yet. Let me find a good bit.
I mean, I've been Oh, you go ahead.
All right. There's a really good bit where they channel these evil images. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it'll take me ages to find it, Ren. There's a film you can watch. It's a film that it was made into a movie, which is quite good. It's like an early 70s sort of Hammer House type thing. But I think there is a real kind of like secret. There's when it comes to the Satanism, real serious ones, not the larpers, the real serious ones. There is a kind of like, there are people who do it in secret. There are secret covens and things like that, often associated with Freemasonic lodges.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's a good film. It's a pretty good film, that.
Yeah, yeah. We were talking about books. I've read a good book late, not that long ago. I think I've spoken about it. Let me just go through my history. Let's see. I read about the War of 1812, and I wanted to do like a video, a YouTube comedy skits on it. And I mean, I wonder if I should show a project that I had. A project.
Well, I thought it's interesting because apparently there was the Hall of Congress was attacked, and it was, I don't know if it was gutted by fire, but a major fire was started in there because the Royal Navy used incendiary shells on the Hall of Congress.
Well, but what I found was history about sort of 1812 was learning about impressments. It's like impressments. It's like when you capture somebody and force them to work for your army. It's like what you would. So basically, you kind of have like, I don't know, a prisoner of war, I guess, and you force them, or you like kidnap somebody, or you abduct somebody and you force them to fight in your wars.
Yeah, press gangs. Yeah, they did. They were they were press gangs. Yeah. What I thought was amusing about the attack on the Hall of Congress was because it's just so different to the Q shaman and all those people last year just crawling up into the building and then stealing Nancy Pelosi's laptop and things like that. I thought it was just quite funny. I know some people got killed, someone got shot, but it's just nothing like what happened in 1812.
Yeah, I mean, history is actually pretty fascinating. I mean, there was something I would read on YouTube. However, it is YouTube. And one of the things that I would have read would be let me find the name of the book. Let's see. Let me find the name of the book. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Should be here. Okay, Michael Foucault with Crime and Punished.
Crime and Punished. I've heard of the author and the title.
No, it's Discipline and Punished. Michael Foucault and Discipline and Punished. Right. But a lot of the things he says are too graphic for YouTube. Far too graphic for YouTube. Like, I don't know. He talked about, what's it called? Drawn and Quartered.
Oh, hung, drawn, and quarters. Yeah, that's horrible. They did that to Guy Fawkes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they punished. That was the punishment for high treason.
And it's funny how there are anarchists using Guy Fawkes masks when Guy Fawkes was like for a theocracy. We see anarchists using like, yeah, Guy Fawkes, because they only saw V for Vendetta. They're like V for Vendetta, but it's like Guy Fawkes was like a Catholic who wanted to establish a theocracy. You would have nothing in common with him, and I mean, it's like
people often do that, don't they? Like they love Che Guevara, don't they? The communists love Che Guevara when he was like he was horrible. He was a horrible man. He used to torture people, and he loved hanging the prisoners himself and things like that.
Or it's kind of like how people talk about leftist unity or leftist best, or leftist best, hashtag leftist best or leftist unity, when communists used to did they used to do terrible things to anarchists? They used to starve them. They put them to exile. Let's see how did
if the tankies ever took power, and people like Vorsh, they'd be in the gulags.
Yeah, okay, persecution of
Hmm.
anarchists. And then it's like, okay, it's kind of like, let's see, um, it's a really long read, and I just want to try to
No,
get to the good parts. And it's kind of like, uh, this is kind of like where I'm just scanning and I'm
no
babbling
worries.
and I'm
It's all
rambling.
right. But like I don't know if you saw that Vorsh had that debate with non-compete, and because Vorsh was like just having a go at his wife.
Oh,
That's pretty
so
bad.
Vosh led the guy insults his wife.
Yeah, he attacked his wife.
Okay, okay, here it is. Okay, I think I could screen share this because I think I found it. Okay, screen share. And this is slow. I know it's slow.
No worries.
I know it's slow.
At least they do. StreamYard has its own system for doing that. Because
Okay, let's see. Does systematic manhunts for anarchists in general and of anarcho syndicats in particular, with the results that every prison and jail in Soviet Russia is filled with our comrades, fully coincided in time and in spirits with Lenin's speech at the 10th Congress of the Russian Communist Party. So it's kind of a lot like the communists would put anarchists in jail and in
mm.
prison.
Oh yeah, and I mean, half of the bread tubers would if the bread tubers were in the Soviet Union, they'd be in the gulags. They'd be locked up without a doubt or shot.
Yeah. On that occasion, Lenin announced that the most merciless war must be declared against what he termed petty bourgeoisie anarchist elements, which, according to him, are developing even within the Communist Party itself. So Lenin hated anarchists.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
It's stuff only to the anarchist tendencies of the labor opposition. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say it got far more doctrinaire in the Soviet Union when Stalin took power. He turned against half the people who fought the revolution in 1917 and killed them. I mean, some of them escaped. He tracked them down. I mean, Leon Trotsky, most famously in 1940, hacked to death with an ice axe by one of his agents. So yeah, the idea of a somehow some kind of left equilibrium. If ever all they have to do is like get Bernie Sanders into power or something, and there'll be some kind of left equilibrium,
Yeah,
which
like
which
I,
is nonsense. It's absolutely crazy. It's absurd.
I can't help but to find like leftist unity and leftist best to
Mm.
be cringe. I just find it to
They
be
are very disunified. I mean, we've
because
talked
it's
before about them. You know.
yeah, because it's kind of a lot like it's like they don't know history. They don't know history. They clearly don't because historically speaking, the anarchists would have gotten, removed or deleted, terminated a person by the communists. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like they're just really
Mm.
young and cringe.
You see it like on YouTube and Twitter and other places where like you get like Christy Winters or someone or Kevin Gogan, they will go after someone else on the left, or you'll get like these really extreme tankies going after the bread tubers and things like that. Vorsh attacked non-compete. Now, non-compete and Vorsh are both leftists, but um, Vorsh attacked Luna, who is non-compete's wife, who's a young Vietnamese woman, who she speaks English sort of a bit. She speaks kind of broken English, and Varsh was like saying, "Oh, she's mentally ill. She's R word, mentally deficient, things like that." And so non-compete came on and had it, and non-compete then did a debate with Vorsh where it ended up in an argument, and Vorsh and they hung up in the end. I think he was just trying to defend his wife as any man would.
Yeah, I mean, if you were a good man, you would defend your wife.
Yeah, but in the event that these people get off YouTube and actually form a government, there'd be a massive civil war, not
Yeah,
between the left and right,
exactly.
but between different factions of the left.
Oh, exactly, exactly. Because I mean, if you look at history, like I was reading, is the screen share? Yeah, the screen share is still up. I mean, it's kind of a lot like they were, put in prison. There was some
Mm,
mayhem for them. They were in jail and in prison.
yeah.
Let's see. On that very day, the Lenin made the above statements. Members of the anarchists were arrested all over the country. So okay, anarchists were arrested all over the country without the least cause or explanation. No charges have been preferred against any one of the imprisoned comrades, though some of them have already been condemned to long terms without hearing or trial. And in their absence, the conditions of their imprisonments are exceptionally vile and brutal. Thus, one of the arrests, Comrade Maximov, after numerous vain protests against the incredible unhygienic conditions in which he was forced to exist, was driven to the only means of protest, left him a hunger strike. Another comrade, Yurok, released after an imprisonment of 6 days, was soon rearrested without any charges being preferred against him on either occasions.
Well, the guy who went on a hunger strike, I think, is making a mistake because he's kind of playing into their hands. If he says, "I'll starve myself to death," they'll say, "Great, save us from shooting you."
Yeah.
But it's like they'll call it a political necessity, and they do. And the different factions would do if they ever came to another, if they ever took power. For example, during the Russian Civil War, the Bolsheviks, that's Lenin and the others, they went to the island of Kronstadt. Kronstadt is a little island near outside St. Petersburg. There's used to be a naval base on there, and today it's a museum. And they massacred the entire population. There was an entire garrison of soldiers there, and they killed them all. About 3 or 400 of them. They were summarily executed, and the reason was because the anarchists had a faction there. The anarchists had set up a branch on Kronstadt, and they didn't think anything of it. For them, it was just a necessity, and that's how they justify these things. They always call them that. They always say, "We've got to do it. It's necessity. These people are evil. These people are our enemies. We've got to just kill them."
Yes, it's kind of like I don't know why there are people on Twitter with hashtag leftist best and go girl leftist unity. It's just like you don't know history. Like I'm no expert either. I'm no expert either, but it's kind of a lot like, it's like do some research.
Yeah. Definitely. I think I'm gonna have to go to bed soon, Rin. I've got work in the morning, but
How late is it in England?
it's 20 past 9. I've got to. Yeah.
Okay, well I'll let you go. Thank you for
Cheers.
coming on, Ben.
It's been great, Rin. I'm glad. Welcome back to YouTube. It's good to see you back. Hope the trolls leave you alone, or I'll sort them out for you.
Oh, well, they have left me alone for about like a year or two.
Oh, great! But I'll share this around. I'll make sure I post the recording when the recording's up. I will
No,
share it
we're
around.
live right now. We're live. It's
Oh,
not a
cool.
recording. We're
Oh
actually
no, I
live.
mean, but of course it will become a recording afterwards, won't it? It'll become a recording on your channel.
Okay.
Are you gonna leave it up as a recording?
Oh, yeah, I'll leave it up.
Oh, cool. It's good to talk to you again.
All right. Bye, Ben.
See you then. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.